is being recorded. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lindsay Weaver. I'm the IB coordinator, and I also likely have worked with your 9th or 10th grade student in mathematics. I am joined by the wonderful Melanie Peterson-Nafziger and the wonderful Teresa. Melanie Peterson-Nafziger is likely familiar to you because she is our upper adolescent program director. Something you may or may not know about Melanie is she truly also is an IB expert, and we are very lucky to have her joining us to answer questions tonight. And Teresa is our Director of College Access, who you will become very familiar with as you get closer to your graduation at Great River School. Just to preview the evening, if you can locate your question and answer button in the lower part of your screen, possibly, we will try to follow those throughout the evening to make sure we get your questions and questions answered. And this is what our agenda looks like for tonight. First, Teresa is going to present a PSEO overview, which will be what is PSEO, what are my options, and what should I be thinking about as I choose whether or not to pursue it. Then secondly, Melanie and I will partner together to present on the IB and answer your questions. That will be what is the IB, what are my options, and what should I keep in mind as I choose. We will make sure to also show you your course options at Great River School in terms of IB courses. So without further delay, I will hand it off to Teresa to start our information about PSEO.
It's saying I can't share.
Oh no, let me check my button again. I do have all panelists. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. And we are going to go back. Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Teresa Hitchens Olson, and as Lindsay said, I'm the Director of College Access. I work with all upper adolescent students. Some of you might be familiar with me because I used to be the Dean of Elementary. So I have had some of your students before, and now they're all getting ready to come up to this 9th, 10th grade adolescents and work their way into college. So that's exciting for me to see how people grow and change in that process. We're going to talk tonight specifically about PSEO, what it is. It is a program that allows public and non-public students in the 10th and 11th and 12th grade to attend college while they are still in high school. It is free to all Minnesota public and private high school students. We are also required by Minnesota law to let you know about PSEO and to have those resources available to you. So that's important to know. Why was PSEO started? It was started to give more students access to the possibility of a college education. Students who might not have an adult in my role, such as a guidance counselor or a college prep program at their high school. Students must apply to PSEO programs individually. Unlike college, there is no common app. So if you want to go to PSEO at the University of Minnesota, they will have different guidelines than, say, PSEO at Bethel. And you need to look up as a student or a family what those guidelines are to apply. And they will have different GPA requirements. PSEO for 10th graders is a very narrow, one size fits all program, and it is a technical education courses. PSEO for 11th and 12th has a wide variety of classes at different colleges, but students should be aware of the Minnesota Department of Education's graduation requirements, and GRS has its own individual requirements that every student must take. So I say that because some students want to do PSEO and then they find out that they have to take another year to graduate high school because they did not meet the requirements of MDE or Great River. Who is a good fit for PSEO? It is a great fit for highly motivated students that are already doing exceptionally well in this high school program. Students who might want to take classes that we don't offer at GRS. Seniors must be in the top half of their class, and juniors must be in the top third of their class as far as GPAs. They also have to score in this if they're taking the ACT, which we aren't this year, but if they took the ACT, they have to be in the top 70% of that score. But our MCAs can be used, especially with COVID and with most students not taking the ACT, as a supplement. Again, as I said before, it is for students who might have an interest beyond what is offered at Great River and that class they can't take. So if a student has, like, we don't offer oceanography or we don't offer computer science, it might be something that they want to take at another school. Again, it is made specifically for those students who are high executive functioning, who are able to manage their own schedule, manage to be with people who are much older than them in some cases, and have kind of that maturity and skill to navigate a college environment early. Some myths about PSEO. One of the reasons I started doing this and talking about this, because there are a lot of myths around the PSEO education model. While students can take a wider variety of classes, admissions people, so that's my job. So I work on getting kids as much scholarship money and into the colleges of their choice. Admissions people regard the IB classes the most rigorous path to college. So when we have students that are having an application and they have the same GPA, and we look at the classes that they've taken, IB ranks higher than students who are doing PSEO. Doesn't mean that PSEO is bad for someone or it's not a great fit. It just means in the terms of scholarships and admissions, they regard the IB diploma and even not doing the IB diploma, but taking a majority of IB classes more attractive to them in the admission pool. A lot of families think that PSEO will lower the cost of a college degree. And again, as someone who's been in my job now for the 5th year, and I get to see everyone's scholarship package and financial aid package, and I get to work with you closely on how to submit your FAFSA and all that financial document, I have seen time and time again that it does not lower the cost of a college tuition. In fact, a full IB diploma at some colleges, as I'm sure Lindsay and Melanie will talk about, can save you up to a full year of college tuition. So if your main goal for PSEO is to lower the cost of going to college, you might look at other ways to do that. Transition to PSEO. Students should consider all the variables of applying. So if your student has an IEP or a 504, needs student support, if they're planning to apply to college and need letters of recommendation, or the community support of doing PSEO their senior year and not having easy access to people like me and other guides, that is something to really consider when you're making this decision. How to enroll in PSEO. Again, as I said, the research for different colleges and universities that offer PSEO widely vary. So a GPA at the University of Minnesota that is required is around a 3.5. St. Paul Community College will have a lower GPA requirement. Each higher education establishments vary in their requirements, and that is listed on their website. How do you find that? So Google is a wonderful tool. So Google the University of Minnesota PSEO program, and you will see their application, how to apply. They will have information nights very similar to this, and you can check the requirements there. Make sure that you meet all the requirements before you apply. It's not fun to do all that application and then to find out that you were rejected simply because you didn't fill something out correctly. Students can also meet with their high school counselor to discuss those graduation requirements that I talked about and the benefits and risks of enrolling in a PSEO program. All students must complete the PSE Notice of Student Registration found at the MDE, that link that I have right there. So you have to register with them as well. And I believe, the admissions requirement is what we talked about before, and who can take classes under the PSEO program. Again, many families enter the PSEO program believing that if they take a college math class, that it will count as a college credit. And that is not always true. It varies from university to university. And so if you have a dream college that you're thinking about, or if you have 2 or 3, look at how that PSEO transfers. Again, how do I find that information? You would use Google and you would look at how they transfer PSEO. And again, IB credits as well. The University of Minnesota campus have certain requirements, and each private college has its own requirement for PSEO. We recommend that you check with the higher education institution, and please do not assume that all college and universities have the same grade point average or test score requirement, because they do not. Are there funds for transportation available for students who attend courses? Yes. If you are from a free and reduced, you're registered with us with free and reduced lunch, there are transportation costs. Many school districts will also supply computers for students taking it online. Must school districts provide information to families and students about PSEO? Again, this is a legal requirement for all schools in the state of Minnesota. Can students take courses online? Yes, you can take courses online. If this has been an ideal year for you and you've loved this online format, you are able to continue that even when other schools are in session. And again, must school districts supply computer and internet access? The answer is yes. That is for low income families generally, and it is our legal obligation to remove those obstacles for those who struggle with internet access and accessibility. Great River is here to answer your questions, to provide transcripts and test scores, to sign all of the PSEO paperwork, and to support you and your family to make the best decision for you individually. Who do you contact? You can contact me, of course, and also Matt McElgraff, who is our Dean of Students. We are both here. You can email us both, and we will get back to you as soon as possible if you have any questions, or you can ask them following this presentation. That's it for me.
Teresa, there was one question that came into the question and answer, and feel free if you're in the audience, if you have any other PSEO specific questions. And the question is, do you have any insight for students wanting to take PSEO that are on the autism spectrum or have other IEPs?
That is an excellent question. Again, it's the same as when you're applying to colleges and you have a 504 and an IEP, you're looking at that student support. Every college differs in that, as every public high school or private high school differs in that. You can meet with the student disability office and say, This is what my student is applying for PSEO. We're looking for supports, and they will vary greatly. It also gives you kind of an opportunity to test drive some colleges too. And I'm always here to answer questions about having an IEP or 504 in college and what that looks like as well.
Excellent. We see no more questions. We'll make sure that we put a little reminder in the chat that you can reach out to either Matt or Teresa if you have questions about PSEO. Thanks, Teresa. I appreciate the time on PSEO because I forget things from year to year and I learn something new every time I see that. We are going to transition to the second part of our agenda, which is looking at the IB at Great River School. So a friendly reminder on the agenda, we'll look at what is the IB, what are my program options at Great River, and what should I keep in mind? So the first thing to know is a preview of the process, like where are we going and what is our timeline here? We are in IB Info Night tonight, March 16th. Students, if you're interested in IB and specifically the diploma, make sure to talk to your guides in March and chat with them about whether they think you're a good fit. Do your own research. You have until 2 weeks from tomorrow to submit your IB diploma program registration. And at that point, if you're at all interested about taking the IB diploma next year, make sure you fill that out. So mark your calendars. Wednesday, March 31st is that deadline. It's only for those wanting to pursue the full diploma. Once we get those registrations, we'll work to review those and contact any families if concerns arise. And then all students can look forward to being able to sign up for their courses this June through Great River School. What is the IB? I should have quizzed everyone in the chat. I wonder if anyone knew. I see a lot of actual returners of families who might have already had a student go through the IB, but it stands for the International Baccalaureate. It was founded a long time ago in Geneva, Switzerland in 1968. And it was originally intended to be a program where people living abroad could access an international education. Pretty cool because you could move from country to country and you would be able to attend an IB school, and this still happens today, where you walk into that school and you get a similar or the same experience as an IB student in a different country. So it allowed for international mobility of students. It's seen around the world as probably the most rigorous program in terms of university preparation. And of course, it's recognized by universities around the world. Melanie, did I miss anything on the fun facts about the IB?
Not really. And one of the things I learned more recently that I thought was really cool was the people who really envisioned the IB program are really kind of coming out of some of the same era as Dr. Montessori, even though she died in 1952, and the founders of the United World College High School International Schools. And they all kind of were coming out of that post-World War II and trying to transcend nationalism and think about world peace through education. And that was a cool connection to realize, oh, all those thinkers were thinking about students and peace at the same time. So yet another integration between IB and Montessori.
And it so beautifully transitions to our next slide, which is looking at the IB mission. I do want to get in one little more brag. We're one of only 20 schools in Minnesota to offer the IB diploma program. And so that's pretty special to be able to have access to an IB program within our state, but there are over 5,000 schools globally. I know this is a long text, but it just so beautifully captures what Melanie was talking about and how much the IB supports the Great River School mission. So I do want to read in the IB's words what they're about. And they say, when we talk about education and what it means, what we really want to know is how to instill in our students the knowledge that will make them better learners and better people. How can we be sure that when we send them off into life with the skills that they really need to grow and develop in a successful, happy way? Now in our 53rd year, we are dedicated more than ever to developing international education that creates a better world. The focus of the IB is teaching students to think critically and independently, inquiring with care and logic. They know that asking the right questions is a crucial skill. And again, the IB is truly an international experience. It's found in over 150 countries around the world. You might be thinking at this point, like, I've heard a lot about advanced placement in the United States of America. I haven't learned a lot about the IB. And those two are often compared because they do have a lot of similarities. But I do want to highlight some ways that they're different. So, with advanced placement courses, this is really the development of specific content knowledge versus the IB is more of a holistic education whose mission is to develop the whole person. So think of it as more of a liberal arts education, where the AP only has 1 year courses where you really dig into content. The IB allows for 2 years, more in-depth study and inquiry. AP is content-centered, lecture-based. The exams at the end are often multiple choice. In the IB, our students complete official IB projects, presentations, and labs. Our visual arts students just put on their annual art showcase where they got to display their art. One way that they are very similar is, like AP exams with any IB course, you can earn college credit. And I just want to show you an example here. This would be some Minnesota schools. You can see Minnesota private colleges earning credit in high school. One route, of course, is advanced placement. That's a popular route, but also the IB is highlighted by Augsburg, Bethany Lutheran, Bethel, Carleton. The list goes on, and each school gives a route for students earning college credit for both higher level IB courses and, in some cases, standard level IB courses, which we'll talk a little bit about later. Finally, I just want to put both mission statements up there to highlight again how closely the IB mission supports the GRS mission and vice versa. So our GRS mission, I'm sure you know it by heart, but our goal is to prepare students for their unique roles as responsible and engaged citizens of the world. It aligns nicely with the IB mission, developing inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through international understanding and respect. You can feel free to Google or learn more and take a look at the full IB mission statement and other pieces about the IB on the IB organization website. That's www.ibo.org, or if you just search for IB, it will, I'm sure, pop up on Google. For all students in grades 11 and 12, the IB means a lot of things in the classroom. It means we are able to really go in depth. We focus on both theory, knowledge, and application. There's a lot of courses where we get to have seminars where we explore diverse points of view. And there are moments in the IB that are very independent that allow a student to get into flow and really do their own independent learning. And there's also built into the IB program collaborative opportunities. So let's take a closer look at what the IB program specifically means for a Great River School student. At Great River School, all students have access to the IB courses and program in 11th and 12th grade. In fact, most of our 11th and 12th grade classes for all of our 11th and 12th graders are IB classes. They're 2-year classes. Students sometimes have a 1-year option. And what I really want to look at next as a new idea, some of you will choose to do the full IB diploma, which we'll look at. Others of you will take IB courses, but you'll take a combination of courses and electives. You won't do the full diploma. And I want to highlight some differences of those options and talk a little bit of what those options mean. So what does it mean to be a full diploma student at Great River? And what does it mean to just take a combination of IB courses and GRS electives? So we're going to look at your options: IB diploma program or IB courses and GRS electives. If you choose to take the full IB diploma program, it means that one thing it means is that you take all IB courses. So you'll take an IB math course, you'll take an IB literature course, individuals and societies, that's our IB global politics course, an IB language acquisition, an IB art, and an IB science. In those boxes highlighted in purple, and your IB art, you'll have a choice. Your IB math, IB literature, and IB global politics, we either only offer one course or you're placed in an IB math course. So again, if you're the full diploma, you will choose one course in each of these 6 boxes. As a full IB diploma student, you also, one thing that's special about the diploma, you're going to take 3 total HL courses. That means higher level courses, which require more in-depth study and usually take more time and thought than your standard level courses. Let's take a little closer look at IB math. Some of you are thinking about, if I do get to choose versus being placed, am I going to take IB applications, which is one of our math courses, or IB math analysis? And those of you new to that choice, I want to highlight, what does it mean to be an IB application student versus an IB math analysis student? IB applications is loved by students who are interested in going into the humanities, going into design, going into working with people. And they're like, tell me how math applies to my real life or humanities careers. I wouldn't prefer algebra and solving complex algebra problems. I want to connect math to the real world. Then a student would be drawn towards IB math applications. If instead you're a student who loves solving complex algebra problems and loves the theory and loves these complex, being able to untangle everything, then you're probably an IB math analysis student. IB math analysis prepares students for careers and majors if they're interested in going into the sciences, or medicine or finance. IB math analysis would be a great route for you. I also want to highlight the differences between our IB science courses. We have a new course called IB Sports, Exercise, and Health. This is the first year that we have offered it, and a lot of students are reporting that they're learning a lot and that they're enjoying the course. You can think of IB Sports, Exercise, and Health Science as really focused on anatomy and physiology. It also has topics in biochem, physics, psychology, and nutrition built in. So that's one of our IB science courses of 2. The other option for an IB science at Great River is IB Environmental Systems and Societies. It is a 2-year course. And this course is also well loved at Great River because students get to, in a typical year, get out in the environment, like taking samples in ponds and woods, and it's looking at the impact of our complex system of societies on the natural world. So those are our two IB science courses, a little bit more about them: sports, exercise, and health science, and environmental systems and societies. Any student has access to either of those IB science courses. Melanie, have I missed anything yet in the IB course outline and looking at our different options for IB courses at Great River School?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Very thorough.
Thinking back to what does it mean to be an IB diploma student? We already took a look at the requirement to take 6 IB subjects from each of those 6 boxes, 3 higher level and 3 standard level. There's also a beautiful course called Theory of Knowledge that's required for 3 semesters: fall of your 11th grade year, spring of your 11th grade year, and fall of your senior year. And you can think of that as like a philosophy course where we learn and explore, how do we know what we know? It's a course that I wish I could take because it's so interesting whenever I hear about what they're studying. Also covers and explores ethics. If you choose the IB diploma route, you will also complete an extended essay, which you get to choose your own topic and really dig in over an extended period of time into research. And that ends up being turned in as a 4,000 word research paper. We do it a little bit at a time, but when our alumni come back who have completed the diploma, they often mention that the extended essay research experience really helped prepare them well for the work and research that they were doing at the university level. Of course, CAS, I don't know if you know this, but CAS is actually an IB thing. So that is part of our IB diploma program, our creativity, activity, and service portfolios. And I do want to mention the IB diploma, you can see it's a lot. It's a full schedule. So there is not the possibility of adding, if you're an 11th or 12th grade IB diploma student, there wouldn't be any electives in your schedule. So it would mean that you couldn't take choir, you couldn't take chemistry, you couldn't take musicianship or any other non-IB elective. They're just not an option because of how full your schedule is as an IB diploma student.
Lindsay, can I just chime in here and say for the extended essay for IB candidates, they can also include that in their college application as doing research. And so we call that double dipping in the college department. And so we encourage students to pick topics that they're really interested in really delving into, and then we use it also in their application. So that's another highlight.
Lovely. A student who chooses the IB diploma goes through a wonderful 2-year journey. I'm saying wonderful because I'm seeing our seniors have these beautiful smiling faces as they turn in their last IB assessment. And it really, in our eyes, it truly is about that 2-year journey. But a lot of families, as they're deciding, want to know, how do I actually earn the IB diploma? At the end of the senior year, all students will turn in their projects that they did throughout the IB. We'll send them off to, I joke, we send them off to Switzerland, but really we just submit them to the IBO. And students sit down and take their IB exams each May. And the IB organization reports back to families and students whether they earn their diploma. And so each subject is scored on a 1 through 7 scale. Students can get bonus points for theory of knowledge and the extended essay. And if a student scores 24 points on their subjects and TOK and extended essays all combined together, they get a letter from the IB organization that says, congratulations, you have earned your IB diploma. I've already mentioned this once, but when we ask the question, what are the benefits? It's really listening to our alumni. When they come back, they really talk about how the IB diploma program contributed to a large extent in the confidence they had when they went off to their college and university work. part of it, we think, and they mention this, it's a really rigorous program, but hopefully you find Great River School, like other past students have found it, having a really strong support system of guides and mentors. And so doing a rigorous program while being in a place where you have the strong support system puts you at a really great advantage for doing something hard. And when you encounter it in college and university work, it kind of feels easier. We do see a lot of success in earning the diploma. In 2019, for example, 80% of our GRS candidates earned the IB diploma, and I think this was consistent to what we saw in 2020. Melanie, anything to add there?
No.
I will make sure that these links are available to you. Some people like to dig into the research of what does the research actually tell us about the advantages of the diploma program. Research has found it's ideal preparation for university. It's great for students who are interested in enrolling in colleges, applying to selective universities, and doing well in their beginning college university experience. And research says that IB diploma students are often more motivated, more engaged than their non-IB peers. Hopefully, we think because of the holistic liberal arts education that it offers and multiple paths of assessment, projects, and independent explorations. I will also link and make sure you have access to, if you're interested in seeing insight on how colleges and universities view the International Baccalaureate, that video is available on the IBO website. So we talked a lot about your options if you're, what it means to be a full IB diploma student at Great River School. But we also mentioned actually all of our 11th and 12th graders are in IB classes. Not all of them are IB diploma students. So your other route that you could take is, instead of being a full diploma student, you could just choose to take some IB courses and also take some GRS electives like musicianship, like choir. So I want to make sure that you know that if you choose not to be a diploma student, you can always still get access towards college credit for your IB coursework, such as IB Literature HL or IB Global Politics HL. What happens is in 11th and 12th grade, you'll do all the official IB coursework because it's built into those courses. In May of your senior year, you'll sit for your IB exams. You always have access. You could choose and opt into the extended essay or theory of knowledge course as electives. And you'll get a certificate of results from the IB that says, congratulations, you did well on the IB literature exam or on the IB global politics exam. Take this to your college and submit it for potential college credit. So you do not have to be an IB diploma student in order to pursue college credit for your IB courses and coursework. Here's a snapshot for both diploma students and people who are just interested in taking individual IB courses. Some examples from around the world of where our GRS students have applied. We have the University of Minnesota, Stout, Barnard, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Knox College, Augsburg, Concordia, just represented there. If there's a college that you're looking at and you're interested in, I wonder if I could get credit for my IB work at that college. If you look at the IBO blog, getting IB credit at university, or just do a Google search of IB credit at whatever university, Colorado College. Most colleges have a link on their website where you can learn about what it takes to get IB credit at your course. So for instance, at the University of Minnesota, you can see that they award college credit for all of the IB courses that we offer if a student earns a 5 or higher on those IB courses. There is an additional reward at the University of Minnesota for earning the IB diploma. Students get 8 semester credits for an HL 5+ and up to 2 semester credits of an SL 5+. Another example, if you're an IB diploma student who chooses to go to Stout, there's a bonus of 3 credits for having the IB diploma. So now that you know a little bit about each route, the most important question if you're the student is, what is best for me? Would it be best to pursue the full IB diploma experience? Or would it be best for me to do a combination of IB courses and GRS electives? Here are the top reasons, and we've done a lot of extensive work collecting data on this the last 3 years. When we record why do students choose not to do the IB diploma program and instead do a combination of courses and electives, here are really the top 4 reasons we see. Number 1, if you need freedom of scheduling and choice of electives, you're going to want to choose IB courses and GRS electives. Or if you need to focus in 11th and 12th grade on, I really want to access college and my GPA, I'm not feeling totally great about my GPA as it is. If you need to really focus in 11th and 12th grade on raising your GPA, and that needs to be your focus for college access, that would be another reason that you do not take the diploma, the full diploma. The non-diploma option is less academically rigorous, which allows students to explore their passions if they're really interested. I had an IB student who's graduating this year who was doing awesome in the IB diploma, but was like, I want more time to explore my passion for theater directing. And so she chose a route where she wasn't doing the diploma so she could have time for her passion. Then a greater amount of independent work time during the day because of how busy a diploma student is with their 7 courses. So those are reasons that students choose not to pursue the full IB diploma and instead do IB courses and GRS electives. Some questions to consider in chats with your family, chats with your peers, and chats with your guides. What are my own academic and personal strengths? What route will give me the best chance of success in the way I define success? What do my guides regard as my strengths? What do I really enjoy learning about? And of course, what do my parents think, or the people who really care about me and know me well? Here are some frequently asked questions, and again, feel free to put more questions into the chat. But a question that comes up often is, since all Great River School students are enrolled in IB classes, do all students have to take the IB exams May of their senior year? No. So students will take IB Global Politics, for example, for 2 years, but they may not choose to take the exam. Many students, in fact, do choose to take the exam since it's built into the course anyways, but they do not have to take the IB exams. The only way to get potential college credit is to take the IB exams in May of their senior year. Absolutely, students who have a 504 or IEP can find success and joy and great exploration in being an IB diploma student. And IB exam costs should never be a barrier to whether or not you pursue IB exams or the diploma. While they cost approximately $120 each, we have many, many, many payment options, and our school has consistently said, and the state of Minnesota has consistently said, that cost should not be a barrier to the IB program. I think that's all of our frequently asked questions. Are there any other questions, Melanie, Teresa, can you see on your end that came in from the Q&A?
There are a few that we haven't typed answers to. One is, if students want to do a year abroad in high school, does GRS recognize international schools who have IB classes?
Great question. Yes and no. The hard part is we only offer, for instance, IB Global Politics as our Individuals and Societies course. So if you went, for instance, to the International School of Prague, you would take a year of something other than global politics because they offer history, world history, psychology, or something different in that box. So you might be taking a course for when you come back your senior year, it wouldn't translate well. But it could work out. It's hard because each IB school offers a different combination of IB courses. Melanie, anything to add there? Or next question?
I would just say, as much as I think the International Baccalaureate program is a pretty amazing holistic program about development as global citizens and thinkers, and like an amazing amount of student constructed knowledge and so many cool opportunities to pursue case studies even right here in the Twin Cities. I also am a huge proponent of studying abroad. So, think carefully. The IB diploma is not the only way to have a really interesting life as a high schooler or to build a great resume for going on to college. And I'll say both of my daughters studied abroad in high school, and both graduated from Great River. One studied abroad her sophomore year, and so when she came back her junior year, she was an IB diploma candidate, and the other one didn't want to study abroad freshman or sophomore year, and then decided she did want to study abroad her junior year, so obviously couldn't be an IB diploma candidate because she had not been at Great River junior year and wasn't at an IB school in Spain. And they both had lots of opportunities after high school, and it didn't hurt my younger daughter at all to not have been an IB diploma candidate. So, I mean, just think broadly about life and don't feel like this is the only path to success.
I would really echo that because there is no difference, especially even in admissions, from IB diploma and students who just take IB classes at Great River. We do have another question in the chat, Linz. If you could tell us what IB's exams look like.
Oh, great question. IB exams that are taken in May of a student's senior year often look at, it's not multiple choice. So when a student sits down to take their IB math exam, for instance, they are given, one exam is like 15 questions and they're kind of shorter puzzles and problems to solve, math puzzles to solve. And then the next day, they'll take another exam. And those are usually shorter in terms of they're only 5 or 6 questions, but they require more in-depth thinking and they require often a lot more steps. So it's not just step by step. So again, it's not a multiple choice exam. You really get an opportunity to show your thinking and demonstrate your thinking on, for instance, both math papers. And Melanie, maybe you could explain a little more on something like the humanities. What does an IB Global Politics exam look like?
Sure. So if you were to register to take the IB Global Politics exam in the IB GloPo course, you actually you would choose a topic that you're interested in and research it and prepare a 10-minute presentation on it in the context of global politics 2 times during the 2-year course. So each of those presentations would count as 10% of your IB score, and your guide would video record you, and we would send the recording of you presenting on to the IB examiners. You also would carry out an engagement activity where you are out in the community asking a question that you're interested in that relates to power, about people trying to make change in the world. and you go out and actually investigate it through experiential learning, meeting with community activists and organizations and carrying out projects that help you learn about your question. And you tie what you learn in those experiences to what you learned in the course, the more conceptual kind of theoretical thinking about global politics. And you write a relatively short essay answering your question about power, drawing from both the GLOPO course and from your own research and investigations and experiences. That counts as 20% of your IB Global Politics score. And then the other 60% of your course score comes from 2 exams. One is a document analysis kind of exam where you have like political cartoons and excerpts from primary and secondary documents. And there are 4 questions that you write about in relation to those documents. So it's partly like reading and analytical thinking and evaluation of multiple perspectives. And then the last element of your IB Global Politics course score is writing. You would get a variety of essay questions and you would choose 3 of those questions to write about. And you'd write kind of about 45-minute essays for each of those questions. So they really try hard to not just give you a bunch of multiple choice questions or just give you like one assessment format that may really assess like how good of a speaker are you or something rather than how much you've learned. They're really trying to gather evidence of your learning in a really wide variety of ways.
We have a couple more great questions. Lindsay, you'll like this one. Do I have time to keep doing sports? As the sportiest one among us, you may answer this question.
Oh gosh. I think that is totally an individual question. As background, I was both a high school athlete and a college athlete. And if I were in high school, I might not have been a full diploma student because my sports schedule was really, really busy the whole entire year. And I was really passionate about it. I wanted to spend a lot of time doing a lot of different sports. But other players that I played with, I can think of plenty of my teammates who would have chosen and been great, and some of them did do the IB diploma program because they were really passionate about university preparation and being able to access one of the most rigorous and liberal arts educations in the world in 11th and 12th grade. So that's really, I know it's a hard choice, but it is an independent choice of where do you want to spend your time, passions, and energies the most in terms of your priorities in your 11th and 12th grade high school career.
And I maybe would just add on, when you think about the creativity activity service, the activity is talking about physical exertion, stuff that makes you sweat. So going to sports practice, as long as you have a goal for your role in that team and you reflect on it, that would count as part of your CAS. But I agree, there's still a big course load too.
We have a couple college-related questions. If the exams are administered in May of senior year, how does that work with college application timing? I would say most people are hearing back from colleges. The big workload for seniors is that September, October, November, December. Almost all college deadlines are before January 15th. And so, yes, it is important when you're doing college planning and if you are doing the IB diploma to work on your EE, which is that big essay during the summer before your senior year to relieve some of that stress. And that's set up in our program, but it's important to know all those deadlines that are coming at you, but it's actually not in May. So it doesn't take away from that college experience. The next question is, if you are not an IB candidate and take an IB course, do colleges require a passing score on the exam to receive college credit? Well, you can still take an IB test and not be an IB candidate. So you can still use that. And they do as Lindsay stated wonderfully in her beautiful slide, show that you, depending on what the college is in your score, they may or may not give you credit. So there you go. There, she pulled it up for us. So it again depends on the college. And then the other question, college related, is what would you say is the level of difficulty of PSEO compared to IB? Um, do you want to answer that, Linz? I mean, I can. I I think there it depends what you're taking, right? So I do think that Great River has a lot of supports for students, and we are experts in helping to build that muscle for high schoolers. And one of the things I love about our IB program, and I too have had two daughters go through it and then went on to wonderful college experiences, is that Great River helped them learn to be adults. And it helped them practice that muscle of responsibility. It helped them practice that muscle of intellect, but also that muscle of balance. Like as Lindsay said, sports are super important. Art, being creative, volunteering in your community, being active in the world and loving learning in lots of different ways is essential to being a healthy human being. And I think at Great River, we do our best to balance all those things. And we see mental health as being a really essential to being successful in the world. And so we also work to give supports in that as well. Someone else want to read a question?
Sure, I'll read. Can you share a little bit about the difference between standard level and higher level for the same subject? I will say for global politics, as an example that I was talking about before, you would still do the 2 10-minute presentations as course assignments in your course most likely, but they would not be recorded and sent to the IB organization. So your IB score would be rooted in that engagement activity, experiential learning, and essay that you write. The first exam, the source analysis, document analysis exam, and in the second exam where I said you answered 3 questions, you would answer 2 questions from the same exam. But either way, you're in the full 2-year course and you study the same curriculum. We just send different or fewer assessments for your final score. Anything, Lindsay, significantly different for math? No. Okay. Here's another one. If you are not an IB candidate and you take an IB course, do colleges require a passing score on the exam to receive college credit?
I think I answered that one, Mel.
Sorry. Okay. Gotta log these away. Okay, what about, Teresa, sorry, did you already answer this one? What would you say is the level of difficulty of PSEO compared to IB?
This is where I'm testing if Melanie was actually listening.
No, when I'm typing
Yes.
answers, I'm really bad at also or paying attention.
I think our next question is just to clarify about changing one's mind. It sounds like you can register for the.
That's a really great question. I actually missed that slide on that of what happens if a student changes their mind. As a school, once you're registered and we work with you this spring to be like, are you sure? Like, here's what it means. Here's a little orientation. When you come in next fall and you're like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the IB diploma program. We really come around you as a village to support you and say, you really wanted to do this. We are going to make sure that we cheer you on. And part of the IB diploma is building perseverance, and we know there's going to be hard moments. So your retention is really important to us and a big focus of what we do. So you can absolutely change your mind this spring and before you come in fall of 11th grade. But once you start the program, if you come to us and be like, I'm really struggling and I don't know if I want to continue the diploma program, here's what will happen. We'll meet with you one-on-one. We'll listen, we'll collaborate, we'll think together on a plan forward. And we also, if we say, yeah, what makes sense is not pursuing the diploma program right now because of X, Y, or Z, we'll meet as a full team with you, your parents, our dean of students, and our IB support staff to, again, collaborate on a path forward for you. So I think that question's answered.
Does earning an IB diploma make it easier to apply to an international university? The quick answer is yes, it does, because an IB diploma is easy. It's transferable. They know what the curriculum is. I would also say IB classes versus PSEO make it easier to apply to, as again in admissions, because while a community college like St. Paul and the University of Minnesota physics class may be greatly different, admissions officers know that an IB physics class is generally the same rigor of what they expect. So they judge it through the same rubric.
Teresa, there's two more questions, and one of them is definitely related to colleges. Do colleges take the IB diploma more seriously than they would a student who's not a diploma but does some IB exams?
That's a great question, and that's something that I track very closely. Um, I mean, you and Melanie might want me to say that the IB diploma is actually, but it really doesn't. They are looking. It does in certain schools. So if you are competing to get into Stanford with a 4.2 with an IB diploma, versus another student who just did IB classes and has the same GPA, then they would lean towards, generally, if that's the information they're given, towards an IB diploma candidate. But college applications are made up of lots of different variables like essay and teacher rec and those things. It's a great tool, but it's just one small part of your college application. So I have not seen a huge difference in acceptance or scholarship rewards versus one versus the other. I have, however, with PSEO very clearly. And so I just want to be, why I started coming, so I could let people know that information.
We have officially answered all of our questions in the Q&A. And of course, at any time, if you have a question about your decision in the IB, you can always reach out to me or one of your advisors or guides or Melanie. If, again, you are at all interested in pursuing that full liberal arts IB diploma education, be thinking about it throughout March, and we'll look for your registration form to come through by Wednesday, March 31st. I will make sure that this registration form is posted on Schoology on our UA student page. And for wider community members, it is also already linked on our Great River School website under About Us International Baccalaureate. If you're like, nope, I'm good, I'm just going to do the IB courses and GRS electives, that sounds great to me because of whatever reason, no action is needed at this time at all. You can look for an email from Stacy in June to make sure we get you registered for your 11th grade courses, a combination of IB and GRS electives. I personally would like to thank everyone for coming and listening and asking good questions tonight. Teresa or Melanie, anything to add before we wave goodbye?
I just would add that we're having our first ever college night for 9th and 10th graders. I believe it is, I don't have my calendar up, so that was silly.
March 29th.
Yeah, it is March 29th. And so that's just an open time to talk about the college process at Great River, what you should be looking for and what things like a transcript looks like, and things you should be doing during your high school 9th and 10th grade year.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Melanie, go ahead.
I just was going to say thank you for spending the evening with us, and I look forward to seeing everybody's faces together in person soon.
It's very true. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your night.
Take care.
Bye.